Let's talk about the future of the black community if the Democratic Party wins in November this year, 2020, or anytime in the future if they take control of the three branches of the government. You really have no idea what's going to happen to you. So I have some experience with it. Let's look into history and what happened to certain groups of people that were used to usher in a dictatorship. And that is what is happening. The Democratic Party has been using the black community since the 1964 Civil Rights Act for votes. That's their only purpose as far as the Democratic Party is concerned. That's why the black community lives in such a poverty and misery and crime, because the Democratic Party has deliberately done that to them to keep them dependent on them for votes. It's like a drug dealer. First you give some drugs for free, then you're dependent on the drug dealer, and you have to keep coming to the drug dealer for more drugs. And it costs you. And it's the same with the Democratic Party. They got you hooked on, they got the black community hooked on welfare, on all these programs, don't have to work, under all these horrible conditions that the man cannot be in the family, so they destroy the family. The children have to be in terrible, lackluster schools that don't provide good education, because that keeps the children uneducated. Therefore, they're not able to succeed, because if you don't have a stable home, so they destroy the family. If you don't have good education, and then they take any motivation from you to work by giving you freebies, welfare, and even scholarships or loans for minorities. That is again for you not to try as hard, so you don't, because you're going to get it anyway. So all of these things are designed to keep the black community oppressed and to keep them down. And the other thing is, of course, is Planned Parenthood purposely put into black neighborhoods to keep the population down. Because the goal of the Planned Parenthood, the founder Margaret Sanger, the only reason she started is to exterminate black people. Because according to evolution, when you have the monkey and it's going up and up, what is the last before the white man is the black man. Okay, so according to them, black people are on a lower evolutionary scale than white people. So that's why it was okay as well to enslave them. That's why evolution theory is very racist, and that's how the Democrats still see you. And because they see you only, or they see the black community, I am talking to the black community mainly, but I'm talking to everyone, is because that's how they see the black community. They only see the black community through the color of their skin. And because they think that black people are inferior, they always did, that's why they were the party of slavery, that's why they were the party of oppression, and that's why they were the party of KKK, and they still are the same. So what is going to happen to the black community is this, because the black community is only being used for votes. That's all they're good for to the Democratic Party. Once the Democratic Party gets a hold of power permanently, like every other dictatorship, like Communist Party has done, all the communist country, like the Nazi Party has done in Germany, then the black community is going to outlive its usefulness. And because in the utopia of the Democratic Party, the socialist utopia, well, that comes with conditions. Those conditions are that people have to work, because they have to support the system, because socialism doesn't create wealth. Capitalism does that. So when you kill capitalism and you steal all the money, there is no more money to go around, and eventually you're going to start running out of money, so you have to go back to your population to get the money. So you force the population to work. And even to the point you force them, like in communism, let's say agriculture was very low paid, so nobody wanted to work in it. So the government mandated if you're a child of an agricultural worker, you also have to be an agricultural worker. They have solutions for everything. So they will eliminate you, literally eliminate you. Just like Hitler eliminated the Jews, eliminated the gypsies, or tried to, the sick, people that couldn't work, because everything is for the good of the state, good for the collective. So if you're a burden on the collective, which if you are on welfare and you don't work and you are a criminal, then you will be getting rid of, either forced labor or killed, executed. They have all kinds of ways to do this. So, and that is why they purposely destroyed the black community and made them angry against, of course, Republicans, white people. And when they use them, when they need them, they call on them and use them to, like now, to do riots and looting and burning down stuff and beating up people. It is to create chaos, because then out of chaos they hope that they can usher in socialism, Marxism, their utopia, their dictatorship. But if they succeed, then you, the black community, is going to be a problem. That's why they kept the population down with birth control, but mainly with abortion, because what they created, what they done to the black community for their usefulness, if it would be too big, it would be a danger to them. So, but eventually they're not going to need you, so they will get rid of you. You know, they had the Democratic Party, they used to have their KKK. Now they have their Antifa. Antifa that are mainly young and mainly white, Marxist, that it's another tool of the Democratic Party to usher in socialism. And it is to enforce the will of the Democratic Party, just like the KKK was. Antifa right now is not aimed at the black population, but if needed, they will be aimed at the black population. And the other thing is that what the Democrats are going to do is, look, we tried to do everything for the black community. We tried to help them. We gave them all this money. We gave them special treatment, special protections. We gave them welfare. We gave them scholarships. Affirmative action. We did all these things, and they still can't make it. And they still are causing trouble that they put you in the situation and encourage you to do. I mean, the crime population of the black population is like 14%, 40 million, but are responsible for a much higher percentage of crime. And they will use this. And by stroking racism with Black Lives Matter between white and black people, even white people that are not racist are going to become racist, because they're going to start being resentful. Now there's talk about reparations. So they're going to be resentful is, why do we need to pay all this money? We already paid all this money. We're not racist. Now we're being called racist. And we're just because we're white, we're racist. And we're being beaten up on the street, and our businesses are being burned down, and all of this thing. That's what they want. That's what every dictatorship wants. They have to separate people into different groups and pin them against each other. That's what every dictatorship, communistic, fascist system has done. In my country, Czechoslovakia, they pinned the Czechs against the Slovaks. They pinned the low-level bureaucrat workers against the workers. They pinned the people that had something. We all had very little, but if you had just a little more, people were envious. If your piece of meat, and I am not exaggerating, I'm not kidding, if your piece of meat on your plate was a little bigger than the other one, or if one stole a little more than the other one. I mean, that is how you keep control. Unity is the worst thing for a dictatorship, because then that dictatorship cannot survive. So they have to create enemies. And they're going to make you the enemy when they don't need you anymore. So please, wake up. Listen, there are, don't listen to me, okay? I'm an immigrant, so I have no, I don't have any prejudgment and all of that thing what some other people might have in the United States that were born here. I really care. This is why I'm telling this. I really care about the black community, okay? Because I care about every oppressed people, and they are oppressed. They don't realize it. They think they're oppressed by other ways, what they're being lied to by the Democratic Party. There is no systematic racism. It's a myth, okay? This is one of the most free country for any race. I travel a lot in this world. I wished I had the opportunities that black people, even under these circumstances, have in this country, that I would have it back in communism. I'm telling you this, which I'm not going to get any good feedback about this. I'm just going to be labeled all kinds of names. But I do care, and I want to warn you what is going to happen if you keep being slaves, because that's what you still are, to the Democratic Party. Just now they're not exploiting you for labor, for free labor. Now they're exploiting you for votes. And over 90% of the black community constantly votes the Democratic Party, which is their biggest enemy. So listen, there are people in the black community that have woken up or that never bought into this. But you, the black community, the Democrats of the black community, you call them coons, you call them Oreo cookies, Uncle Toms, betrayals to their own race. Well, let me tell you something. You are actually the one. If you are a member of the black community and you vote for the Democratic Party, that's what you are. You are the coon. You are the Oreo cookie. You are the Uncle Tom, because you are doing the bidding of the rich, white, democratic liberals. And of course, there are many black leaders that are exploiting you just as well. It's beyond my understanding that you think, or the black community thinks, that just because somebody is black, they have the best interest at their heart. Why? Because of the color of the skin? You think there's something special there? Most people are oppressed by their own people. We in Czechoslovakia were oppressed by Czechoslovakians, okay? Germans were oppressed by Germans. All right, Russians are oppressed by Russians in communism. All right, most people are always oppressed by their own people. So your so-called civil rights leaders are oppressing you, using you for their own benefit. They've been mayors and police chiefs and council members of big cities, Baltimore and Chicago and New York and all these cities, Washington, D.C., for decades. How has your life improved? Do you really want to keep doing the same thing over and over? And the more and longer you're doing it, the worse and worse off you are. Don't you realize that? So please, break through the propaganda, break through the lies, and vote for the Republicans. I'm not saying all Republicans are good, but the party, the platform, and especially the leader of it now, Donald Trump, he really has your interest at heart. He got rid of the crime bill that Joe Biden and Clinton put in. And that's another thing is going to happen. Your incarceration, again, they're going to put even stricter laws in if they win against the black community criminals or so-called criminals, because then everything is going to be a crime. If you go against the party, it's going to be a crime. So I urge you, don't be a useful idiot. That's what Lenin called people that helped usher in a dictatorship without understanding what it is, and then they got eaten alive. They got killed by that regime. I pray for you. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe and click on the notification bell.